Hello, everyone. I'm Leslie Barrett, Director of Customer Marketing here at EVERFI. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a very informative webinar on the EVERFI Workplace Answers acquisition and how it can benefit all of you. We'll open it up for questions at the end, but feel free to put them in the chat box as they come up for you. If we don't get to your question, we will definitely be following up on an individual basis. So with me today are two of my EVERFI colleagues. First, we have Nicole Skinner. She is the Director of Customer Success. She works with our current customer base on anywhere from implementations to driving best practices. We also have George Homer. He's our VP of Strategic Accounts. So George works with our biggest customers on their more strategic, in-depth training plans. So I'll pass it over to Nicole to get us started.
Great, thank you, Leslie, and thank you everyone who's joined our webinar today to learn more about EVERFI. So those of you who are not familiar with EVERFI, we wanted to provide some additional background on our mission, talk through recent developments and what we are seeing in the market, as well as go over what's new with our offering from a technology and support perspective. So I'm actually going to hand it over to my colleague George to talk about EVERFI at a glance, and then like Leslie mentioned, we'll spend some time at the end of our session to go over any questions that arise.
Thank you so much, Nicole and Leslie, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to learn what's new here at EVERFI. For those of you on the webinar today who aren't familiar with EVERFI, we just want to give a bit of background on the company and some developments that we've made over the last 18 months. So our impact, EVERFI as an organization, we've been in business for over 10 years, serving over 16 million learners at scale across the globe on the most intractable issues in society around harassment and discrimination prevention, diversity and inclusion, code of conduct, GDPR, and other critical topics. We serve over 4,000 organizations across a wide spectrum of industries. And so really excited to share more here about some strategic initiatives that we had over the last 18 months. So we've made some strategic acquisitions on our corporate compliance side to really accelerate growth and acquire more subject matter expertise in a global perspective. And so we've acquired Workplace Answers, as many of you are with Workplace Answers on this call. We've acquired Click for Compliance, and we've acquired LawRoom. And so this has really allowed us to serve our customers in a much more holistic and scalable way with tremendous efficiency around a global and domestic perspective. So customers, we work with a wide range of organizations, both large and small, and the benefit that you get from being in the EVERFI network is really this collective intelligence on the work that we do with Google and Kimberly-Clark and Airbnb and Oracle. And so what this is really a rising tide of best practice in the compliance and prevention space, which lifts all boats. And so being involved with EVERFI gives you best practice that we learn from these other companies in course builds and in development so that you benefit by being part of the family. So what we're seeing in the market, and so we're seeing a lot. We put on a webinar about 2 months ago, and we surveyed over 1,000 HR leaders and executives on this event. Not surprisingly, nearly 60% indicated that they would expand the scope of their harassment prevention strategies in 2018, and most notably, over 40% indicated that company-wide training would be part of that expanded scope. And I've spent over 10 years helping companies launch harassment prevention programs, and I can say that I've never seen anything like what's happening now with the Me Too movement and Me Too legislation. But to talk a little bit about California and New York legislation, we've known historically that California AB 1825, Connecticut, CHRO Act, and Maine have mandated a 2-year supervisory training, so 2 hours every 2 years for supervisors only, and many of our partner companies deployed that supervisory training to all supervisors across their entire footprint, which is great. But we know it has been a check the box approach, and folks have really focused on a small subset of their population. Fast forward to 2018, with New York legislation, both at the New York State and the New York City level, we've seen landmark legislation pass this last few weeks that are now requiring every employee to be trained every year in New York on harassment prevention. And so this is a landmark movement. We're seeing this where companies are now saying, okay, this is a much more strategic company-wide or employee-wide approach. And we're also seeing California looking at making training on harassment prevention an annual requirement for all employees, and other states are following suit around training everyone on this important topic. In Illinois, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Louisiana, they're all contemplating legislation right now to address this. And so much has changed. And so we want to talk through really how this looks from a much more holistic approach in serving our customers in the most efficient way possible to do this in a scalable way. So what's new with EVERFI? And so quite a bit, and that's why you all are here today. And so I'm going to walk through a number of areas, and then I'll hand it back to Nicole to take over for the rest of the event. And so 2018 course catalogs. So we've broken this up into a subscription model, unlimited access. So gone are the days of a per course, per user, per person, per year approach, which is limiting. And there's a number of reasons why that's not the most effective way to deploy this in the least painful way. And so with our catalog approach, it's unlimited access. It's a flat fee based on company size, and it's broken down into really 3 catalogs. And so the global and ethics and code of conduct or compliance catalog is more for a CCO, Chief Compliance Officer, General Counsel, which encompasses topics like code of conduct, ethics, anti-corruption, anti-bribery, antitrust, conflicts of interest, gifts and entertainment. So there's about 25 courses in that catalog. The HR and people catalog encompasses topics around harassment and discrimination, diversity, hiring, terming employees, IIP, GDPR, data security, and is designed for the VP of HR, HR director, or a CHRO. And that catalog has 25 courses. And so we're able to bundle these catalogs together, but it is an unlimited access model to make this as easy as possible. And then for 2018, we did the last catalog here, the 3rd catalog, which is harassment and inclusion, which is a truncated catalog of the HR and people for those organizations that are just focusing on harassment and discrimination prevention in 2018, which we see many companies that are reevaluating that, or most companies that we talk to are in light of legislation and just what's being done in the market. And so the harassment and inclusion catalog encompasses supervisory harassment prevention, non-supervisory harassment prevention, diversity and inclusion, and unconscious bias. And so that's a seamless way to ensure that that we're addressing helping you all and others in the most efficient and effective way possible. Proactive compliance monitoring, and so this is a new feature that Workplace Answers customers didn't have previously, and what you'll have now under the EVERFI umbrella, which is 10 lawyers on staff to make sure that courses are updated in real time as laws change and are modified and enacted. And so we've seen this with California AB 1825, where there's been 5 iterations over the last 6 years of our courses, whether it's abusive conduct or gender identity. And so we know having these lawyers on staff to make these courses is of tremendous value to you all and to our entire network. And so making sure that anything we put out continues to meet the letter of the law in real time, where you're not waiting for an update, but it's happening dynamically into the course automatically. So very excited about this. And then platform integrations. And so another new feature for EVERFI customers is the ability to integrate with existing platforms. And this is generally organizations that have over 1,000 employees will have an internal learning management system, whether it be Cornerstone or Workday or SAP or Oracle. There's many out there, and so we're able to now seamlessly integrate through AICC or SCORM so that courses are deployed to your end users through your platform. So it looks like it's coming from you and tracked and reported in your system. Keep in mind too that we are dispatching these files out, and so our system remains a backup for your training records so that if your LMS goes down or you sever ties, you'll continue to have those resources in our platform. I'm going to hand it back over to Nicole to walk through some of the other resources and new additions with customer success and some of these other critical areas. So Nicole, if you want to take it back over, I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you, George. And for those of you on the line that have any questions related to our integration capabilities, I'll be sharing my email at the end of this call. Feel free to reach out so that we can schedule a call and scope out that capability. So like George mentioned, I'm going to spend some time here previewing our content. So here at EVERFI, we understand that branding or personalizing certain elements of a course, it increases that learner engagement. So we offer customizations like including an executive welcome letter or video, also inserting your company policy for e-signature. And we also offer a custom resources and helpline section as well, so that if you have any additional content or HR links or maybe a hotline, you can include that in the course as well. And so this is just a screenshot of our policy upload tool. So you'll see here, this is our harassment and discrimination prevention course. This is an example where you would put in your harassment policy. A learner, as they go through the course, would stop here to read over the policy, open the policy, of course, read over it, and then sign electronically. And they would have to go through those motions before they progress through the course. And these records are also tracked and the data also stored within our platform. So as far as the actual content in our courses, we leverage a multimodality approach. And we take instructional design here very seriously at EVERFI. We have a strong team of instructional designers that really study the way that adult learners learn. So here you can see we use interactive quizzes. The learners have to give correct answers in order to progress within the course. So the learners will have to actively engage with the content to proceed on in the course. We also utilize videos and branching scenarios, which you can see here, as well as real case studies. So all of our scenarios are based on real cases to optimize relevance. Infographics, as you see here, two screenshots of our infographics. They're just another way to help learners absorb information. We share information a number of ways in our courses to cover all the different learning styles. Here is an example of how we leverage gamification in our courses. So this is our very popular security course. You can see here we have an example of an email, and the learner has to identify the red flags that make this email a phishing scam. So aside from the amazing content that we offer, what also differentiates us here at EVERFI is our customer experience team. So the customer success team here, which is my team, works hand in hand with your organization to ensure that you're getting the most value out of your EVERFI trainings and out of our partnership. So my team assists with the implementation strategy, also guiding you through a comprehensive curriculum plan. We also work with you to understand the data and how to leverage that data to take your training really to that next level. We also offer 24/7 end user support, which is, again, another huge differentiator here. So if a learner, for example, is taking a course at 2 a.m. and they run into a technical issue or they can't log on, they can give our support team a call. send them a chat or an email, and they'll get that help right away. George, I actually wanted to gather your experience here in working with our strategic customers. What's the feedback that you've been hearing on your customers leveraging our customer experience team?
That's a really great question, Nicole, and certainly folks have found the customer success managers to be extremely useful resources for best practice and for sharing learnings and insight and curriculum recommendations and quarterly business reviews. And so we've really stepped it up here on the customer success side with these acquisitions, and then the tier 2 level 2 support with the 24/7 365 access to our help desk. No other vendor does that, and so that really gives another layer of support for employees who are taking courses at 2 a.m. or 10 p.m. at night. They can reach out and get help, so they're not bothering the customers with those specific questions. So it's been massively successful, and we've invested heavily to be the best out there on the customer success side.
Awesome. Thanks, George, for that insight. So to wrap it up here, we wanted to end with some questions. So Leslie will actually be the moderator here, and then I'll answer any questions that you all have on the line. Also up here on the screen is my contact information. So if you have any questions on our courses or how to engage your customer success manager, or if you have any questions on our integrations or anything at all, please reach out. I'd love to talk to you or connect you to the resource appropriate here at EVERFI. So Leslie, if you wanted to pick a few questions that we can address, I'd love to answer those, and to wrap it up here.
Great, yes. I'm seeing a lot of questions around individuals asking about pricing. So I think it's safe to say, what is EVERFI's pricing structure now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our pricing is subscription-based. We're a SaaS company. So pricing it's an annual fee, and it's based on the bundles that you have access to, also your company size and the level of integrations that we set up.
Perfect.
And yeah, and just to also piggyback on that, if you have any pricing questions, again, I'd love to connect you with your customer success manager, who will be able to provide you with an exact quote for renewal. Great.
Another question is, will we still be able to customize our courses?
That's another great question. And here at EVERFI, we do allow you to make certain customizations within the course, which I touched on previously. So we offer those branding elements like your logo. Also, you can insert your welcome letter or welcome video within the course. We offer that resources section for additional information. And then, of course, the policy upload. So there's certain elements within the course that you have that flexibility to change. For the most part, aside from those elements, our base courses are widely used by all of our customers and work for the majority of our customers here at EVERFI. If you have specific questions or requests in regards to customizations, again, please reach out to me and we can talk through that, and I can connect you with the right resources here on my team.
Awesome. So the rest of these questions are pretty, particular to everyone's accounts. So as I mentioned before, we'll definitely be following up on an individual basis and answering your questions. So I think we can wrap it up for today.
Great, thank you, Leslie, and thank you all of you on the line. Thank you for joining. We hope that this was informative. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us for any additional questions, and we look forward to a continued partnership. Leslie, did you want to post anything? Okay, great. Thank you, everyone.